What's up, guys? In this video, I want to show you how to get the highest retainers in your industry. And this means for a lot of you guys, we have folks in our group right now that are charging $10,000 to $70,000 per month with one single client on retainer. And if you add up 50 or 100 of those add up really, really quickly. And I'm going to show you it has something to do with the 3 levels of positioning. So let's get into it right now. What's up, guys? My name is Frankie Finn. For those of you guys who don't know me, I wrote this best-selling book right here, Beyond the Agency Box. I've also built 3 of my own agencies up to 100 plus clients, and I help and mentor thousands of people in this space to live the whole more beach, less laptop lifestyle. So let's get into the big fat retainers. Like, how are folks really, the first time I heard that, by the way, I don't know if you have that same effect. Maybe you're doing better than I was, but I remember somebody went, you can charge 10K a month, 70K a month. There's local clients willing to pay 70K a month for SEO and pay-per-click and things like that. And the answer is yes, there are. So the first level of positioning, by the way, if you want to be the lowest paid person in your industry, do this. It's what I call Jerry Generalist. And Jerry Generalist is typically the lowest paid person in the industry. And what Jerry does is a little bit of everything for anybody. He's a come one, come all kind of shop. And if you ask Jerry for, can you do pay-per-click? Can you make a website? Can you do it for a plumber? Can you do it for a butcher? Can you do it for a candlestick maker? Do you do it for e-commerce? Jerry is the person who does it for everybody. He doesn't know this, but he's actually typically serving what I call the bottom 80%. So we're going to write B2M for bottom, and we're going to write 80, and it's a little hard to write sideways, but you guys get the gist of it. Is Jerry doesn't know it, but he's serving the bottom 80% of the market, the people who actually have the least amount of money, the hardest obstacles to getting started. They lack teams, resources, and often don't have sales processes. And every time Jerry does work for a client, by the way, he has to create a custom solution. So it's new work every single time. He's solving a custom problem. And so it requires 100% energy because he doesn't have that specialized focus. And you'll see this on websites when agencies say, hey, we do SEO, pay-per-click, or if they say, dear business owner, and it's kind of just written to anybody and everybody. That's how you end up as Jerry the Generalist. So how do you get to stage 2? Which is Steven Specialist. And by the way, most times Jerry Generalist is doing work from anywhere from like a couple $100 to like 2,000, 3,000 on the high side. And Steven Specialist, by the way, when you reach that stage, usually Steven is anywhere in, let's say, I'd say 1,500 to 5,000 a month, typically. Sometimes it goes bigger and lower than that. But Steven Specialist is when you decided we are no longer going to be all things to all people. And we answer the biggest question that sometimes people struggle with, the niche, however you want to call that. And they say, we're going to be about somebody. Who is it about? And so by its very nature of narrowing down, you have to say no to certain people. But what happens is, as you have specialist knowledge, you're often able to charge 4 times as much as Jerry for the same thing. In fact, I used to see this when I first started selling websites as a generalist. It was hard to get somebody to pay me $1,000. And then we went into the plastic surgery space and we specialized in plastic surgery. We'd get $10,000, $20,000 for that exact same website, right? The only difference is we were making it for a plastic surgeon and we got to showcase other case studies and testimonials from other plastic surgeons, which made the selling job easier. And then there is one level past it, and this is for those of you guys who want to reach that next level and get the biggest, fattest retainers in your market, and that is the old stage 3, and I call this Cedric Celebrity. Celebrity/authority, Cedric Celebrity. And the only difference, by the way, between Steven and Cedric is that Cedric has used the power of media to enhance his specialist reputation. So what that means is people have heard of you. So I'll give you an example of this. When I first discovered this, I was reading Expert Secrets by Russell Brunson. And he said in the book that he would go speak at all these conferences, and a lot of times he would crush it and make a bunch of sales, but sometimes he would make no money at all. And he always wondered, is it the crowd? Is it my presentation? And then eventually somebody said, watch how you're introduced. And he noticed that whenever he would crush it, they would be like, put your motherfucking hands together. And whenever they would go, this is Russell, and he's gonna come share some good ideas with you, so give him a polite golf clap. And so when they did that, He wouldn't sell anything. And so he started to realize the importance of media. When I discovered this, I had a big aha moment right after I read this book. I think it was at my brother's house, and he was watching one of those late night, I don't know, Jimmy Kimmel. I'm old, so I think Jay Leno and David Letterman. But anyway, one of those kind of shows, one of those late night. And I remember they said, coming up after the break, the star of the hit new movie. And the crowd went, whoa. And then the commercial came back and they said, put your hands together for the star of the hit new movie, woo! And then before they got to speak, again, the host went, this person is the star of the new movie, blah, 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 yay. And that's 3 different times before they've opened their mouth that the crowd has endorsed them, the TV has endorsed them, the host has endorsement, and therefore their perceived status is like level 100. Well, I wish I knew this, but you can actually do this on purpose. So there are actually, I want to say 7 or 8 different ways you can create celebrity in your market. One of those is laying on the ground right here. Make a book that positions you higher in your marketplace. Another one of those is speaking on stage. Interviews, like podcasts, getting introduced by other experts, TV, media, things like magazines and things like that. And I'm probably forgetting 1 or 2 of them, just kind of shooting it off the top of my head. But the difference between Stephen and Cedric is Cedric has intentionally put a media-driven reputation in front of him and is able to charge 3 times, 4 times the prices. What you'll find is Stephen's specialist tends to attract people usually in the 5 to 20 percentile range. So he gets better clients than Jerry does, usually ones who are more focused and have more money. And what happens is Cedric, the celebrity authority, tends to work with the top 1 to 5% of the market who are always asking one question. Who is the best? Who is the best person you know for Facebook ads? Who is the best person you know for SEO? And I know this, by the way, just from actually having been in a lot of lawyer masterminds and watching them, like we're talking top 1% of 1%, like the highest level, most producing, most successful lawyers on earth, sitting in a room, masterminding, me just being a little fly on the wall, kind of listening in the background, except for when they talk about SEO, where I know a lot about that. And I would watch them buy hundreds of thousands of dollars of services in front of my eyes every single time we did it. And it always started with, who's the best person for that? Who do you recommend? And they would get 2 or 3 names and they'd say, who have you used for blah, blah, blah? You're using TV and it's crushing it. Who's the person you use for TV? And so those are the kind of questions they ask. And so one of the things that is this celebrity thing does not happen completely by accident and by organically. It is by the reinforcement of media. So if you want to work with the top 1 to 5% of your market, and a lot of times what you'll find, it's actually not a big deal. For example, if you're charging $10,000 a month for pay-per-click and you're working with a lawyer who spends $250,000 or 250 grand every month on pay-per-click ads, $10,000 is not a big management fee relative to what they're investing in ads. But if you do that for somebody who's also investing 10 or 20,000, you're going to have a hard time saying my fee is 20 grand and getting it. And if they're somebody who's just trying Facebook ads for the first time or trying Google ads and they say, I got $500 to invest, how much do you think they're paying Jerry? So what ends up happening is if you do it this way, you get a different tier of client and it actually makes your life easier. I first noticed this whenever I would get some of the celebrity authorities and we'd send them a couple of leads. They had teams of closers, they had CRMs, they had follow-up scripts, they had trained their team, they had recordings, they would have meetings, discuss the recordings, and they'd be constantly improving the process. So like, how did I know they could handle the leads? Because they would convert them, right? You do that for Jerry Generalist and they would say shit like, ah, shit, I missed that call last night. I was getting drunk on Thursday morning, and I probably should have called that guy. I know I should have, but I was just hanging out with the guys. And that's what you kind of get when you're dealing with the Jerry Generalist. So what I want to tell you in this is if you want to reach that top 1 to 5%, you have to use media. You have to use media of some kind. You either need to write for the industry magazines, you need to speak on stage, you need to be interviewed, you need to write a book, you need to do things like that. And these, by the way, these things are generally way easier to get than most people realize. I've written for a couple of different industry magazines having done this, and this is what it takes to write for them. Hey, could I write some articles for you? And they say, sure, send us your bio. And now you're a magazine author. So that's the magic of that, is when you know how to engineer this on purpose, you can make it so, as Russell Brunson did, he had a video recorded so that Tony Robbins himself introduced him, and then he would always play it before he spoke on stage. So every single time it was a video version of Tony Robbins introducing him, and he would always, 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 always from that point forward crush his introduction, thereby cementing himself as the celebrity authority and being the highest paid person in the market. And if that's what you want to do, put those media to work for you. So I hope that's helpful, and make sure to subscribe and pick up a copy of this baby on Amazon.
Hey guys, if you like this video, you'll also like my book on Amazon called Beyond the Agency Box, which you can also find by my name, Frankie Finn, and it's got a lot of awesome reviews. And it really just goes deeper on a lot of things we're talking about, everything you need to grow and start a lifestyle agency, from the stages you'll go through to getting clients, to how to create winning offers, to high value deliverables, to wowing clients, to building teams, to building systems, and building a boring factory that's like a 7-figure money machine for you. So if you're interested, I put links for you in the video description, as well as it'll be in the pinned top comment below, and make sure to check those out.